my friends, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here getting ready to make some mock scrapes, and I'm going to show you a few tricks that will bring deer close to your hunting setup or wherever your tree stand may be located. Now, one of the tricks that I like to employ is using these old grapevines, and I hang them over a mock scrape, and if it's a good live grapevine, it'll drip constantly, you know, and deer are naturally attracted to that. And I've got some video footage and some photographs that I'll share with you in this video to prove my point. So the first thing I want to do is find one that's alive, and I go to an area where a lot of this stuff is growing. I mean, it's all around here, and I'll pick out a good section about 3 feet long or so, maybe 4 feet, and I'll cut it out and make sure that it's wet. Okay, you want to make sure that it's not dry. You want a piece that's live, that's green still, that's dripping sap out of it, because that's what the deer will be attracted to. And they'll come up to that and they'll get in that mock scrape and scratch around, and then they'll rub their faces on it, and they have what's called preorbital scent that they'll deposit on that, and every deer in the area will key in on that. And that's what you need to capitalize on if you want to be a successful deer hunter. So let me go ahead and get this piece cut out here. I'll use my Gerber saw here. You got to be careful with this because I hurt myself a couple of years ago doing this when the blade came back and sliced my thumb open, you know. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut out a section here. You'll be able to tell pretty quickly when you start cutting into it if it's green or not. If it feels kind of moist and sticky, that's what you want. I've got enough here to make 2 of them. Get the other end cut off here. You can see that that bark and the wood from that is sticking to the blade. It's hanging inside the teeth. So this one here is very much viable. Okay, there's one of them. And what we'll do is get this hung up, and we want it about as high as your chest, hanging above the mock scrape. And then we'll put up a trail camera so that we can follow the deer's patterns. So anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get this other section cut out, and I'll put them over the mock scrapes, and I'll show you exactly how I do it. Okay guys, I'm about 15 yards from my tree stand, and right here is a location where I hung one of these grapevines last year, and you'll see this in the videos and in the pictures that I'm going to share with you. Now this one's already dried up, so I'm going to freshen it up with a new one here. I'll cut this one a little bit long because I'm going to hang it just a little bit higher, and the longer these are, the more they'll drip, and the longer they'll drip. One of these will last throughout the deer season. And they were still visiting this even after the deer season because I kept my trail camera attached to the tree, and I could see that even in February the deer were still coming through here long after the deer season was over. So this is a one-time thing. You hang this up and they'll start visiting it pretty quickly, you know. Once they discover it, they'll keep coming back. Now I put some persimmons here because there's a little persimmon tree right down here and I opened up a scrape right here, right below where I've got that vine hanging, and there's nothing but persimmon seeds there now. And that was only a day ago, so that tells me they're coming through here. You know, they're visiting this site because they're used to coming here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this down and put my new one up. There you can see from the end of that one, it's already dried up. It was still dripping a little bit. It's still kind of wet there on the end that was hanging up, but it's pretty much toast. Okay, there you can see I've got it hanging right over this scrape here. I'll go ahead and use this old stick to freshen the scrape up. Okay guys, I hate to get right in the scrape, but I'm just showing you this is about the height at which you want to hang these, because that's perfect for a mature deer to come up here and deposit their scent on it. It's already starting to drip, as you can see here. There you can see the sap coming out of this thing and dripping right into the scrape there. Now I'm not real sure if it's the sap that attracts them. Maybe they come up here and lick on that sap. Hard to say. But I know that once they start depositing their preorbital scent here, you'll see more and more deer activity right here as time goes on. So I'm going to go ahead and hang my trail camera on a tree over here overlooking this site, and then we'll go put up the next one. Okay guys, there's my vine hanging over the mock scrape here. That's my setup, and there I've got my camera overlooking the site, so I'll be able to record any activity that goes on right here. Okay folks, here we are at the second location. As you can see, we've got this vine hanging down here. This has been up here ever since last year. I'm going to go ahead and attach a fresh vine right here. I'm going to go ahead and open this scrape here. Well friends, as you can see, I've got this one here prepared and I've got it suspended here. I had to prop it up a little bit higher to get it at the correct height, but it's dripping sap into the scrape already, and you want to make these scrapes relatively large. You know, it's kind of like a community scrape where multiple deer will come through here and they'll visit this site. And this is directly in line, like I mentioned, with the other one that I had just set up. And it takes advantage of deer's natural movement patterns. They come right through here. I've taken lots of deer right here in this location. And they've come right here, right behind my stand, and come past my stand where I had an easy shot at them. But I've also observed a lot of deer coming through here. You know, I've had does come right up to this and lick on the branch and then lay down right there. So a few things you want to remember. Make the scrape relatively large where it's very easily visible. Try not to step in it directly. I mean, now obviously I came in here and I walked around in here, so I deposited some human scent. But you want to do this before a forecasted rainfall, because quite often after you get this set up and then you get a rainfall, it'll wash a lot of your human scent away from here. And the deer will have a natural attractant right here where they'll frequent. You know, they'll come through here and they see this and they'll deposit their scent. You'll see bucks a lot of times when they're making a scrape, they'll scrape on the ground and then there'll be an overhanging limb where they thrash their antlers around and they lick on those branches and they'll deposit the preorbital scent that they have and leave their scent behind for other deer in the herd to know that this is a place he likes to frequent. So that's what we've created here for the deer. You know, it's a visual and an olfactory attractant for them. And once you've got this set up, stay out of it. You know, just leave it alone, because the deer will naturally come here. Put it up and then get out as quickly as possible. Now, anything else that you might have touched, any branches, like these old vines that I used, I take them and I move them out of the area, because by touching them, you know, you're going to leave behind human scent. But anyway, if there's a forecasted rainfall that's coming, then that's really the time to put these up. I can feel some sprinkles coming down right now. If we get some rainfall this afternoon maybe to come into the area, it'll wash all this human scent that I've left behind away, and it'll leave this area fresh and open. And like I said, this one here is dripping down into the scrape here that I've made right now as we speak. I just hung this up and it's already starting to drip. And like I said, I'm not sure if they're attracted to that sap, if they can smell that, but they sure like it, because I've got some video footage that I'm going to share with you that shows you that I've got little bucks coming in here, I've got does with fawns, and I've got some nice bucks coming in here too. And a lot of the activity, granted, is during nighttime, but quite often they come in here early in the morning or late in the afternoon, just before the sun goes down. You know, they'll come in here, travel through here to a bedding area or a feeding site or whatever. But anyway, these deer will be coming through here. They'll travel through from either direction, either from down there or from back here. And it almost becomes like a ritual for them to stop right here and visit this site. So let's go check out that other one here and see how well it's dripping, and then I'll leave you with some closing thoughts. Well, my friends, it looks like our grapevine there is starting to drip because the whole bottom section of it is just soaking wet. And looking at the scrape down here, I can see where it's been dripping down into the scrape while we were setting up that other one. Now, one thing that this does for me, and I think it'll do for you as well, is if you set up your trail camera after you make something like this, you know, a mock scrape or whatever, and you can see that deer are regularly visiting here, you know, at different times of the day or at night or early morning or whatever, you can tell by your trail camera the most often times that they come here, you know. So you'll learn from your observations here when to come in here. And it instills a real sense of confidence because you know that deer are visiting this at different times, and you'll know when they frequent it most often. So you'll know to come in here before that time and to get set up, get settled down, make sure the wind is right. You don't want wind blowing from your stand to this. You want the wind blowing towards your stand, okay? And if the wind is right and conditions are favorable for deer to start moving, you know, after a rain or just before a rainstorm or whatever, or before a cold front especially, you know, right when the cold front comes in and the weather cools down, that next day, man, that's the time to be in the stand. And that's the time to be at a location like this that you've prepared. So for me, it instills a sense of confidence, and I think it will for you as well. So get out there and find these grapevines. These vines, they're all over the eastern United States. I don't know if they grow in the west or not, but get you a good section of it. Make sure it's green and fresh. Make a mock scrape close to a deer trail and set up downwind of it. Leave it out for a few days or a couple of weeks. You know, let some rainfall come into the area, wash all your human scent away, Let the deer get used to visiting this, and then check your trail cameras and see what kind of deer activity that you've got going on here. And I tell you what, a lot of times it'll pay off for you very, very well. It doesn't matter if you're just after a doe or after a good buck or whatever, at least you'll know the caliber of deer that are coming to your setup here. So with that thought, I'd like to go ahead and close out this video and wish you well. Get out there and scout, get your mock scrapes like this put up, and get ready because deer season's fast approaching, folks. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you learned something from this. If you already know about this, then maybe you can add some tips in the comments below. But I tell you what, it's things like this that really help you out. So remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, no matter what your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember, hit that like button, smash that bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take good care of yourselves and get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. I'll be seeing you.